think I'm going to need a bit of full case of beer, to be honest with you, tonight after that result. So I'll pop on and chat to you all, folks. I hope everyone can hear me. Hope the microphone's okay as well. I know there'll be a couple of podcasts on having their post match reactions and the usual crack. But I said I'll continue with mine and just chat to you and see how everyone is feeling after that result. Because what you expect, like it's. I'm not surprised, to be honest. I'm really not surprised. Are Celtic going to get beaten in that Champions League, Open Champions League group game? I would have probably said yeah, because that's the way it is. We're beyond pish poor. To be honest with you, let's be honest here, Tommy. Let's be honest with ourselves. Are Celtic good enough for the Champions League, or is it just beyond 2 or 3 steps ahead? For a club that has won the trophy with the current finances we have, that we've made revenue, are the club good enough for the Champions League? My God honest answer is no. I've been saying this since the summer. I know we were beaten only 2-0 today, which should have been 4 or 5-0. Let's be honest. 4 or 5-0. Feyenoord were a better team. 2 sending offs. It's beyond Brendan. Like, let's be honest. Like, Brendan's gonna get the scrutiny. He's gonna get the criticism for it because he's the manager. He's to take liability of the decision he makes. The club need to be liable as well. Let's we should have. We knew Jota was going. We knew Carter Vickers was going. Not Carter Vickers. Carter Starfelt. You never know. Carter Vickers might go one day at this rate. Um, we didn't go out and replace Starfelt. We got Naroski. We got Lagerbielke. And yes, these players might be good in the future, but these guys have feck all experience in Europe. Feck all experience. And okay, Lagerbielke was unfortunate tonight to be sent off. Yep, project players. Project is what you invest into something. If you have a project and you don't invest the money and the quality into things, as I always say, quality over quantity. We've brought quantity into the club this summer, but not at the level to compete in the Champions League. Not to get, we don't like there's 40 million in revenue, additional revenue that we've received, and that's without the Champions League TV pot money on top of it as well, folks. Like, we're getting laughed at by the club. We're actually getting laughed at the club. They bring you about 4 or 5 jerseys a season, and the revenue's flowing through the club. But yet we go out in the Champions League and we get laughed at by a team. Yet the Dutch champions. Yet they've scored 17 goals in the last 3 or 4 games, and they're a good side and they have a good manager. And obviously, Spurs are looking at their manager before Big Ange went. But let's be honest, regardless, and Brendan, whoever's in the job, we are not good enough for the Champions League. We're not good enough for it. And the people come around and say, oh, calm down, Keith. There's 5 games to go. We have Lazio next. We don't have a decent centre back partnership. I thought Scales was all right tonight. You know, Lagerbielke did play well at times in the game. But what you expect? What was the end result? Should have been 4-5-0. So I'm going to go through the comments, get it all out, vent it all out. It could have been worse. Let's be honest here. I'm going to laugh at this. It could have been worse. It could have been 5-1 on Holland. You know, it could have been 5-1 on Holland, but an own goal. So the 2 sending offs does feel bad. Yeah, it does. Um, until we went down to 10 men, we were more than a match. They are Dutch champions. Sometimes you talk piss. No, I'm talking honest. Yes, we were a match for 44 minutes. What was the end result? What was the end result, Kev? What was the end result? Exactly. It's about results. And yes, we were competing for 44 minutes of the game until we gave away a stupid free kick. Yes. So I don't talk piss. And if you don't like me the way I speak about being honest, don't come onto my channel. Be honest. I can take criticism, but don't tell me when I talk pish. I'm feeling frustrated and angry that we've lost the game. Kyogo jumped out of the way. Kyogo shouldn't have never been in the wall. Never should have been in the wall, first of all. He's a striker. Should have been up there ready for counter-attack play. And we were doing quite well. We were doing quite well. But people are going to say Joe Hart's fault. Joe Hart Could be an extra yard, could have saved it, but the reality is we did not turn up for the second half. Second half, we can see before halftime, you conceded. They came out and they were all guns blazing. They knew they had their home advantage, they could hit us, and they did. And they deserved to win. Regardless of 9 men or not, they were a better team. Yeah, it obviously dictated the game when the boys are chasing shadows. But I'm gonna be honest, Lazio, we get results at home. Happy days, prove me wrong, but I'm going to be negative on this, and I just be brutally honest. I just don't think we're got enough for the Champions League. We'd be lucky to even get 3 or 4 points in this campaign. Just suck it up, you know. You know, terrible. It's all doom and gloom. No, it's not just doom and gloom. We have to understand as well. Brendan keeps saying in these press conferences that the team are not at the level where he's playing. This guy came in a couple of weeks after Ange departed. But the board should have backed him. We brought he's still there, hopefully. I don't know what happened there with the mic. Can you all still hear me all right? Lazio will do was holding us off Madrid as well. Look, I've said it on the channel, said it if he's went through my Champions League reaction, we're not getting a result against Madrid, home or away. We're not getting results. And if we do, happy days. We're crap. That's the bottom line. We make terrible decisions in the last third of defence was there for the taking. And we defended quite well for the first half, and then they were there for the taking. I thought Scales, his interceptions were quite well. I thought Taylor pushed up well in the game, and then we just burnt out. Obviously, Johnson got a good few tackles in there as well. Correct. I've said this, I think, regardless Brendan, it would have been the same situation. Same situation because the club are not backing to get the right players in. Now, I might not be saying this tonight, saying, oh, if we won the game, we've been like, oh, brilliant. That would have been some goal by home or that would have been some result, but it's not. The reality is we got beaten only 2-0. Only 2-0. So, like, if someone comes in and starts defending, saying, oh, well, it's not the manager's fault, it's this and that, the reality is we are not good enough for the Champions League. We are not. It's beyond us, and we need to think about the bread and butter. Like we're in this situation where we don't have the wage structure to go out and lure these players in. And people say Champions League night at Celtic Park is magical. Yeah, but is it going to become a case where we're getting Champions League football every season and getting thumped home and away in the Champions League? We want to be winning games, like the Gordon Strachan days, like the first term in Neil Lennon. We want to actually give a team a go for his run for his money. We did earlier on in the first half, but the second half, you're down to 9 men. The boys can only do is chase. Matt Roy should never give away that free kick. Never should give away that free kick. Kyogo looked lost in the game, to be honest. Moyeda, I thought, worked really hard. Palmer, too big of an occasion, shot himself. First big Champions League game away from home, quite hostile. And, when you see Feyenoord fans, you may sometimes say that, well, they were taking the piss, or it comes across as when you got a full stand or full stadium waving at you, it will knock your confidence. It will. It'll either make Laga Bielka or it'll make home stronger players. They're going to be obviously out for the next couple of games and stuff, but that will kill their confidence, and that's just the banter. That's just the joys of football. Let's be realistic. If we're going to get 6 points in a streak, there would be a massive result. Half the team are unexperienced at this level. We all knew that half the team were going to be inexperienced at this level. Like I said earlier on, I'd take a 1-1 result, but I said also as well, we need to go for it, and we did go for it. But at the same time, when we are down to 10 men, we got a young midfielder coming in that was looked at from Manchester United and Juventus, and he does a tackle like that. when the guys are trailing. We were still in the game at that time. We were still in the game. Goes in with a tackle like that. Inexperienced. And you will learn from it. That's it. We have a lot to still look forward to. Like, it's only one. Like, I know people are saying, you're throwing your toys out of the pram. It's one defeat in Europe. Well, we lost in the League Cup as well, folks. And the football we've been playing so far this season hasn't been the best. It goes back to the Ronnie Doyle days. That's, we're winning games, winning the 2 or 3 nils, but it's not exciting football. And I back Brendan to do a good job. And we've seen in the first couple of games the football we're playing. It just getting the squad, giving the belief. It's proper management, and it's also about the club putting the right tools in place. And I feel like he hasn't been backed again. How are we meant to make a statement as a club in European level when we're getting look? Feyenoord are a great team. They're a good team. Like, there's no dispute that Feyenoord are a good team. We had them there, at one point. Look up the laws of the game, blah 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 blah. It doesn't matter. The result is the result. The result is the result. You know, we can moan about walls, we can moan about offsides, we can moan about VAR, we can moan about players. The result is the result, and we're sitting bottom of the table. About the podcast saying, "Look at the laws of the game. Look at this." The facts is they beat us. It could have been 3 or 4 nil. 3 or 4 nil. That's the God honest truth. You know. Well, we have Livy the weekend on Saturday, which will be a very, very difficult game, folks. It's not going to just be a stroll in the park, as we all know. Astro pitch. The last time we played on Astro pitch, we got beaten by Kilmarnock, which they were a better team that day. But we need to think about the bread and butter. There is loads of positives. I thought Scales had a good game. I thought Johnston was very physical, got stuck in. I think Callum McGregor, it was very unfortunate to get that yellow card. Um, I thought Taylor showed a bit of, urgency to get up the pitch as well. You know, there is positive. Atate looked very back to himself at one point in the game as well. So there is positives, but the most hard things to take is we lost the game. We lost the game, and to go away to the Dutch champions, and some people were expecting 2 or 3 nil wins, and I wasn't expecting a 2 or 3 nil win. I was expecting to go out there. It could have been a different story if we were still, 11 players on the pitch, 70 minutes in. It could have been a different. No, I thought Tate played well. I honestly thought Tate played well. You might turn around and say, he could have challenged, he could have took more shots on. I thought he played well. But Matt O'Reilly, bit off the grid at times. But overall, you just have to take it as a team that we lost, and we'll move on. We're taking on the chin. Livy's on Saturday. We've Lazio in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully, we'll have Nat Phillips back. You know, we are improving. I don't dispute we are not, like, we are improving under Rodgers. I think we are. I just really believe that he should have been backed more in the window. I just feel like I don't want us going into a Champions League campaign like the last time when the Rodgers and getting smashed PSG results. And it's backing the manager as well, and it's giving their players that belief, saying, "Look, I'm about to bring you in for 2 or 3 million." Carter Vickers should be out until middle of October. He's back on the grass, but he's not doing physical training, contact training at the moment, so he should be back in October. Shows should market Talilo as well. There is 5 games in the group, Vincent, and I know that. I know that, but looking at that evidence tonight, yeah, we may score goals in the Champions League. I think there is goals there for the boys. I really believe there's goals there, and I just don't think we have the physicality up front. Like someone saying we should have. Like Kyogo's a cracking striker. We all know that, but it's it's gone from Scottish League to European level. And we've seen it in glimpses of in the Europa League. It's getting to that stage where we do need an 8 million, 9 million striker and stop being stingy. The club is taking in so much money. It's it's nearly 40 million, 39% revenue since last year. Do you think we can do better than the Europa? If you ask me that question at the end of this campaign, be the best thing to do, because I know I may be justifying over one result, but I've been feeling this. I'll be honest with you, I've been feeling this since Bodo Glint. I've been feeling this, like, I think European football in every aspect, third tier, second tier, or fourth tier, sometimes it's too good. It's too advanced for Celtic, regardless who the opposition is. I just feel like we shat all the time. We literally do. Bodo Glint at home, yes, they were decent in the Europa League the following season, and they made a statement. But this team, Feyenoord, were decent in the Europa League last season. Got to the last eight. I just think we build up the Champions League or the Europa League or European games to expect us to win, because we're used to winning week in and week out domestically. For the stature of Celtic, we expect to go out and do it. You know, they are businessmen, not football man. The club is a profit maker for them and a little more. 100%, Rob. I agree with you. You know, I agree with you, and it's having that ambition to say, well, look, yes, we made revenue, but we should have put 15 million back into the squad, at least from the Jota money. Should have put the money back in and said, look, let's get a left back, let's get an established striker. He may not be playing on a regular basis, but let's go out and get someone for 8 or 9 million. And the club didn't show that ambition. They got a lot of players in, which two or three of these players were Hanch players. You know, they were Hanch players. GD would have been ideal for tonight. Shouldn't let him go. You're not the only person that said that, Pat. In the last couple of days, I've seen people putting up saying we should never let him go. He would have suited Rogers' play. Unfortunately, he did go, and it was him and Ange that had the disagreements. He wanted to go the MLS and get more money and leave him be. You look at good moments in the Celtic shirt, GG did, but he's in the past now. He's in the past. Unfortunately, that's the reality of it. I thought Scales was superb tonight. I thought his interceptions was good, even tracking the players. I'm not just saying it because he was an Irish centre back. I'm saying it because what I've seen on the pitch. You know, I would agree with you. I think Callum looked lost in the pitch tonight. I think he was trying to press, but at the same time trying to defend, because I felt like he was getting that free roam as a captain just to try press up, and it just didn't work out for him. He just looked lost. He just looked like he was help me defend. Down to 11, even when we had 11 men, it's obviously when you get down to 9 men, you're just like you just have to chase two or three players at one time. Sad to say, but look, I expect a better performance next time around from the team. We're at home. Um, I'm not that confident going in regards to result wise, but I expect a better performance. But we don't know. We beat Lazio in the Europa League back in 2019. Good night. Obviously, Christo Julian scoring the winner. That was a team that had a bit of passion, a bit of fight level. Some of them have experience of playing. I agree with you, Dean. We in the first half we did look good, and there's no dispute we had them on their toes. But I just think the second half with the sending offs, it killed the game. Tackle, schoolboy tackle. But as I said, he will learn from this. He'll learn from this, and hopefully he'll bounce back. Was looking forward to Palmer starting tonight. Look, at as I said already about Palmer, I think it was the occasion. I know some Celtic fans don't want to hear that, like, "Oh, Keith, stop, would you?" I think it was the occasion. I think starting hostile environment, he shot it. He just couldn't get into the game, and let's be honest. And I think he will be a good player for us. Scouting the world, and look what we brought in. We brought in some cracking players. Like, look at domestically, we brought in some successes. winning trebles, and so like you don't go on and do world record trebles in football for a reason. You do I thought the scouting department of Ange was a different level. We were ahead of the game, and he's gone. I know that people might sometimes say stop saying that name, but we were had business done early, and I just felt like we were really laxy daisy this summer. Regardless, this result tonight, even with the Kilmarnock game, very laxy daisy, taking teams for granted. And yes, Feyenoord had a plan, you know. Yang needs to start too. I thought Yang, you know, he's been played well so far. What I've seen him in the league tonight, obviously you couldn't get a sniff of the ball because you're down to 9 men, so it's a different story for Yang. You know, you think we could have done better with a full strength squad? Could have, maybe we could have done better, and maybe with CCV in there, with Naroski, or could have never won the race. Unfortunately, but could have been a different story. But the realistic truth is we've lost the game, and we need to take it on the chin and move on from it soon. Scales played. People are talking about scales. People are talking about scales, and that is a positive, to be honest. Like a lot of people are giving scales the praise, and I didn't give up on scales in the Bottle Glint game. Like I thought the long move done well from at Aberdeen. You got back to scales goal against Dundee as well. He's first proper game again for Celtic, could say that way in I was gonna say Patagy, away in yeah, away in Tannadice. Sorry, I was just getting confused there for a second. Away in Tannadice, that goal, like Scales for Shamrock Rovers, he played as defensive mid. He can play centre back. He played left back as well. So he has a bit of the, like they were saying in the commentary over here. They're like, all the Celtic midfield look quite composed, giving it back to Scales because he has that style about him where he's quite confident taking the ball and he can produce as a good pass as well. So yeah, course to the third shirt. Should have wore the anniversary shirt, but we're never going to wear the anniversary shirt, mate. As much as we all want to wear that anniversary shirt, I think this is a marketing stunt as usual. I don't know. Like I thought in the first 20 minutes he looked Champions League quality, and then he just went off with that. Like that fell, give away the goal. Like realistically, so. But look at. I think Matt O'Reilly. You have to give it to him this season. He's stepped up a level. I think he's been prolific so far domestically. Would I sign Ryan Christie back? No, I'd rather have Matt O'Reilly all day, every day. Would you bring back Dembele or Giakoumakis? There's no point of saying you're going to bring them back. They're not going to come back, especially Musa. Musa's not going to come back. He's happy in Saudi Arabia making the coin. The tall kid did look good. Keith, you're right. Let Brendan down again. Saudi for him. For over 30s pub league. SPL minus the money. Look at that's what happens. Money talks in football, and you're gonna go. That's what happens. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. I know a lot of people are frustrated because I'm giving my honest opinion, and my opinion might change tomorrow when I look back again at the game. But from what I've seen tonight and the replays as well, just pissed off. Generally annoyed, just annoyed that we we don't have a plan B there. Even when we were still 11 men up, they were cracking us. They were hitting us, and we just could not get a good bit of possession against them. And then that's when the selling offs came. You know, do you think Brendan will stay? Of course. Like we can't justify a Champions League campaign on a manager if he's here to win the bread and butter and win the league and win the Scottish Cup. The treble is gone, as we all know. Of course, he's going to stay. Like why would he not stay? He wants to make a point. He's an ambitious manager. He needs to stay and get the right tools to win the league, play in the Champions League, and actually build a team for the next 2 or 3 seasons. There's no point of us going into Europe's elite competition and getting hockeyed and getting laughed at, you know, regardless of the opposition. We could play against Atletico Madrid, they might thump us 5-0, or we might go out and actually beat them 1-0. And that's the joys. We need to have that mentality. We need to believe in the squad. And most of all, we need to make Celtic Park a fortress again. We really do. Because it's not a fortress anymore. Anyone can go there and beat us. And it was proven by Bodo Glint. Like, I think a lot, I went into that game quite confident, Bodo Glint, saying we could beat them. In the Conference League at the time, we got smashed, you know. What's the point talking about Christie? Who cares about Christie? He's in the past. He's all quick enough to call him Rose Christie when he wasn't doing it his last season at Celtic, proper season at Celtic. So no, I'm not talking about Christie. So the last time he disappeared. What was the last time? Scales played well. You're supposed to play when your team lacks the quality, physical and fearless. Correct. All the boys should have been laying that on the line. That's the difference with modern day footballers, Bobby. Unfortunately, a lot of them are just there for the money. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about the passion. Don't care about the history. They're brought in a PR stunt to say, "Oh, this and that," how big a Celtic is. Some of them don't care. They honestly don't care, and you can see it with the likes of the English Premier League. You know, um, let's see. Why are we talking about the Europa League final in Dublin? Who cares about the Europa League final in Dublin? We're still in the Champions League, and it's about actually making a statement in the next 5 days, 5 games. Sorry, the next 5 days. Well, we have to make a statement in the next 3 or 4 days against Livingston. So, the Europa League, let's not get ahead of ourselves. And that was a bit of banter running commentary saying, "Oh, Europa League finals in Dublin. Maybe if we get dumped out of the Champions League, we should be gone for Europa League." Let's be honest, Celtic are not good enough to win the Europa League right now. Right now, let's be honest. Tommy, my answer is about 70-30. I feel like they're more in it 70% for the money and 30% for the club. That's how I feel. It took them that long to do Barrafield up, you know. There's money there. They've been sinking the money in for the last 3 years. The money was still coming in during lockdown, you know. Just getting streams there for a season ticket. So like I just feel like there has to be someone that has to take responsibility. It's not just this defeat, it's the League Cup as well. It's just the signings, it just didn't feel right when this transfer window closed. And you just have to say to yourself, right, that's it. We've got a couple of players in. We'll see what happens. I just feel like I just hope we don't take the foot off the pedal in regards to our domestic form as in league, you know. Mm. That's it, Kevin. You're right. We're not good enough to get to the Europa League. Simple as that, and it's just being realistic. I just want to. We have we have 3 home games against Atletico Madrid, Feyenoord, and Lazio. Let's just see how we get on for the next 5 games and polish them up. I just hope that we don't pick up injuries in these 5 games that will affect our domestic games because you know yourself, coming back after Champions League, some of the players will be burnt out because they're going up that extra level. But they may be going up that extra level, but still might not be good enough for the result that we all wanted. We need to give Brendan the permission to bring players in as he actually wants. Kind of like what Ange got. Kind of like what Ange is told went out and kind of got what he wanted. I think the difference between Ange and Brendan is Brendan knows the Premier League. Brendan knows the La Liga. Brendan knows all these leagues because he's obviously done his coaching in Spain over the years, and then obviously managing in the Championship in England, managing in the Premier League. He's going to expect better players for bigger transfer fees and a wage bill. And to be honest with you, I don't blame him for expecting it because there's money there in the club. It's not like we're skint FC. We have money there. We've actually, our forecast is quite surprising for most fans, the amount of money we've received, you know. And tonight was a disaster. The wall for the first goal. What were you thinking? It just shows that people are afraid to get stuck in If that was me in a while, I'd be running, trying to break, stop the player from taking the shot after the whistle blown, but blocking it. Awata done all right, but look, the game was dead by then. To be honest, I know it was to stop preventing goals going in, but there was a couple of goals and they were offside. So, okay, we'll see what happens with Awata. Um, Obviously, he was an arm signing. I don't know if Brendan has the faith in him to give him a couple of games in the run, but we'll see what happens. Keith, is that why Brendan Rodgers came back supposed to have a sort? Is it a case that he was paid just decent money to come back and just win the league and just brushing the curtains in the background like, oh, we're in the Champions League, don't worry about Brendan. Just because we'll take the money anyways. Just it doesn't matter what happens in the pitch. Like we believe you're all right, we're in safe hands. Could be that mentality. It could be as much as people might be laughing saying, I do not understand this board. I don't understand the ambition because the ambition during the lockdown times they didn't have they didn't have that communication with the fans. Yes, there's that little bit more communication with the likes of Celtic fan media, and they get asked the questions that some fans want to hear. But my question to the Celtic board is: are you satisfied of the business we done in the summer? Because I can say for a lot of people that a lot of fans are not happy with the business that we've done. Even when Nat Phillips getting it coming off the weekend, I was like, we affect all centre backs. I know we have an injury crisis, but we should have been bringing in quality over quantity, as I said. I'm not expecting like a 12 to 15 million player because I know Celtic won't do that. But we have to move up in the world and start spending money right on players. Bringing in two or three players that are actually decent transfer fees with a bit of Premier League experience, a bit of pedigree behind them is worth than getting in like 9 or 10 players. It's just that have feck all experience, you know? 100%. Topic talker, 100%. I'm gonna jump off this in about 5 minutes, folks. As I said, I just wanted to come on and have a good rant and see what you're feeling as well. How he's all feeling going into the last 5 games. Well, 5 games. I make it out to be like we're at the playing 5 games already in the Champions League. How he's feeling about the 5 games coming up? We weren't gonna get the penalty, like they were trying to give a penalty for Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor's so-called reflection off him going over the bar, but that would have been too soft. Would have been too soft. It was clever to stay in the J League when Brendan came back. The J League. What? I don't understand that question. I don't understand that comment, Tommy. You're gonna have to explain to me in better detail, please. Um, let's see any more. As I said, it's not even. Oh, it has been a negative, and I agree with you. It's been a complete negative. I just think yes, over the past, he's made so much money. He was a part of our as a chief executive, bringing in and clearing the debts. But at the same time, his son is a head of recruitment. Michael Nicholson is our CEO or our chief executive, whatever you want to call him now. And there's no point of Brendan sitting down and saying, I set in Mallorca and the vision was quite clear to me, they have ambition. It's a Champions League defeat. And I can accept that we lost tonight. I can accept that we're away from home. But it's the manner we lost. It's the manner that, 2 players down. We have a defensive crisis now. We have available for us for the next games are Scales, Iwate, Kawabashi, our centre backs. If Nat Phillips is fit, we can have Nat Phillips there as well. So it's It's just quite embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. Like, and I think hopefully this campaign doesn't become a disaster where it's only 2 or 3 points like last season. Brendan will say to himself, "Well, look at, I need funding in January. I need to move this club on. I need to build for the next campaign. I need to build where we shouldn't be getting beaten in a certain manner. We should be getting experienced players in it where they know when we're down to 10 men, not to go in with an attacker like that. You know, when you bring in 15 to 20 million players that are replaced by, it's not even that. It's like, I know we're saying bring in a 10 million player. We're not going to do 12 to 15 to 20 million players. Celtic would be happy to take 25 million, like they done for Tierney, and splash out about 4 or 5 million on two left backs and profit on it. I understand the business, but at the same time, you're going to be ambitious. Like, your engine is the club, your engine is the team. Your team is the one that's bringing you success in all avenues. If it's the league, Champions League, trebles, you need to build that team, regardless who's in charge. If it's Ange or Brendan or someone else, you need to back the manager, give him the tools, the resources to go out and back him. So if he turns around and says, "Oh, I see a nice player there. He's 2 years left his contract. He's valued at 12 million quid. I think you can do it. Go out and buy him." Okay, Brendan, we spent 12 million on this player. If you see a player that you think that be at a level of 6 million, we'll go out and get someone for 6 million. You know when you're gonna, twist the old purse and say, "Well, that's enough. We can't." As I said, 2 or 3 players with a bit of quality is better than quantity of bringing in guys from the K League. And don't get me wrong, I think Yang's gonna be a good player. I don't know much of Kwan. I think all will be okay under Brendan, but I don't know if he's gonna be like the physical type of player as Yakamakis was, you know. But there's a big difference, 100%. And I just think, look, at we don't want to slate Palmer too much. Palmer, we've only seen feck all of Palmer so far, and I think Palmer will be a good player, but there is a big difference with quality, 100%. And that's why Benfica were snapping that he done that clause of, loan to buy, because they could have made a decent few quid off him. But they did eventually with the Saudi Arabia move, but like they could have probably made more than expected. They took him back where would have been his parent club. Jota was just special, and we never should never let him go. I know it's a sad story with Jota, but look at all you can say is Jota will come back to Europe. I think Jota will probably be back to Europe in the next window, and I don't want Celtic fans to be talking about Jota return. We made money on him. Let's use the money and buy someone else that could be better class than Jota. You know, Kevin says Lawwell's, of course, we don't need a son, and also I think we could bring someone as good as Jota. As I said, if you have the money there, why not go out and see, pick a gem. Like this guy Bernardo. Hopefully, he's gonna be a cracking player. Like obviously, we don't have an obligation to buy him because it's just a straight loan move. But he could be a player. He could be a player that could get fans off their seats, like what Jota done. I know Bernardo was an attacking mid, and Jota was like obviously a winger. But you need a player like that. We need players that can come in and buy into the Celtic philosophy and actually wear the shirt and know that they're getting what they want. The fans that adore them and give them a run in the Champions League. Mm. Because the club don't want to spend. They don't want to spend to the level that they feel like it's, you know, breaking the bank. They rather bring in, as I said, quantity over quality. And that's the God honest truth. I said this at the Kilmarnock game, and I stand by my words. And it's not just because of defeat tonight to Feyenoord, which are the Dutch champions. It's just generally how I feel about the summer. Win our home games. Win our home games. That's the God honest truth. We have three home games in there. Um, Maybe nick a results in the Stadio Olimpico. That's to be realistic, but it's it's not out of our hands. It's far from out of our hands, but it's Brendan and the team's attitude to getting it done right. It's getting behind the lads as we do, but it's I just feel the Champions League is just it's a step ahead, but it's not impossible. Of course, it's not impossible in football. It's not, and it's getting there. The next game will make or break us our Champions League campaign. I know there's obviously 4 games left, but we need to get that home win. We need to get that buzz around the fans, around the manager, around the stadium, because there is going to be fans out there tonight that be like, Brendan this, Brendan that, Brendan this. I'm like, calm down. The lad wasn't backed. Yes, you're 100%. Just need to buy one. That will do a lot better. If Andrew was here, probably would have been a bit of a, you know, better of a comprehensive performance. I don't think, and I think Andrew would have bought into the idea of like, lads, don't be taking the piss here. Understand the game. It's a hostile environment. Don't be going in and making reckless tackles. You know, Andrew's a proper elite manager. So is Brendan, but I feel like Brendan just get the vibe off him. Like, I just get the vibe off him that he does want to be there, but at the same time, there's stuff going on in the background that he doesn't feel like he's happy. And it could be just down to the backing. I was just seeing his face that, like even tonight when that second goal went in, the lip went down, and he's just like, you could even see even the first half when we were making chances, when we were pressing the game, you could see how enthusiastic he looked, clapping even when the guys were swinging the balls over, Palmer even tried to swing it over and went there for a goal kick. You could see it, you know. Let's see. Um, we beat them at Celtic Park. The pitch tonight is narrow as fuck. Maybe, maybe. I hope so. I hope so, because their fans were going through my head earlier on. As much as we have that connection there, it was just the whole waving thing boiled me, and the way the manager was going on boiled me as well. So, do I have affiliation with Feyenoord? No, only affiliation with Celtic. So if I want to have a moan about their fans and have a moan about and be better, I will. You know, don't care, don't care about them. It's all about this. And I just felt like coming up to the game, I felt more of a, I had a testimonial vibe than the Champions League. I was like saying to the folk earlier on, I was like, lads, once we get past them white lions, you need to realise this is a battle. We need to go out there and start treating them with respect, because they're the Dutch champions, they're Feyenoord, or we have a Henrik Larsson or a Per van Hooijdonk connection, or William Jansen connection, or Bobby Pett connection. We need to take these serious. We do need to take them serious. And we need to take them serious when they come to Celtic Park and actually get them a game like we could have done, which we were doing, but get them a game where, you know what, slam the midfield, put 5 in the midfield. You know what, get them nothing and get the 2 flanks, hit them. No, we've moved up. We moved up. Like, some of the players are on 40 or 50 grand now. The ones that have the improved contracts, Paul. The average player would be on about 15, 25. But we have moved up the world, to be honest. You know, I'll leave him alone after this. But we need to start moving McGregor out of team. No, no. Look at he had a bad performance tonight. The whole team went had a bad performance, besides one or two. You know. So no, I disagree. I love McGregor. I think, he's the only one that actually cares on the pitch and actually wears the shirt because he knows how important it is. I feel like at times I wish he was more attacking. I think we got the best out of Conor McGregor when Brendan's first season, when he was more of an attacking midfielder. But yes, he's inherited the role of Scott Brown, and he's not that badass Brownie. But yeah, he's a captain, and he's won his titles. He's won his a treble. I wouldn't drop Conor McGregor. if I start seeing more bad performances in Europe, where I feel like he's not grabbing the game with the scruff of the neck, he's not motivating the boys, that's when you turn around and you say, question mark. But at this moment in time, the chap's a legend. He's an absolute legend, you know. Callum McGregor, Zenit St. Petersburg, Bayern Munich, outstanding against Bayern Munich that night. Borussia Mönchengladbach away. You know, there's been some really good performances in there. You know, he actually thought he had a really good game against Red Bull away last season until he got injured. So there's been really good games in there with Callum McGregor. So it's he's been there, he's done it. It's the players around him that he needs to motivate. You know. So yeah, I thought they played all right. To be honest, considering a guy that's been out injured, I thought he played all right. He could have he could have tested the keeper out. You know. I just feel like I can't believe people are actually criticizing Callum McGregor. I can't believe fans are actually criticizing Callum McGregor. Like the guy is a legend, and he still has it. Still has it. He's only 2 years into being a Celtic captain. We all have off days, but my God, are people forgetting how many goals he scored? People forgetting how many assists he provided? People forgetting how many trophies he has in the locker room or in his cabinet, his medals he has, because he still has it. If he didn't have it, I think Brendan wouldn't be playing him. You know, that's the reason why Brendan also came back, because he knew that Callum has improved as a player and he's a captain. So yeah, he'll take it on the chin. He'll sit down. He'll sit down and he'll realise, you know, bad result tonight for the lads. Let's pick it up. He'll have them out on that pitch once they're back in Scotland and Lennoxtown, running the show out of them, having that team talk and getting them ready for Livy the weekend. You know, that's the most important. And we will bounce back. You know, we all have our rants. We all have our hour or two of rants. But I'm gonna have a beer anyway and just let it sink in. Callum McGregor's on about 50 grand a week. New improved deal, because we've made more revenue. The landscape of football has moved on from when Scott Sinclair and Scott Brown was on the average around nearly 40 grand a week. Yeah, he wasn't like, there's no dispute, he wasn't in the game tonight. Like most of the team weren't in the game. I thought Alza Johnson played well. You know, he was in the game from the first half, and he was look. Moyeti was in the game, but it's the result at the end of the day, innit? Um, I think the whole Scott Brown thing. I think we need to lay off the whole Scott Brown stuff. Like if he is to come back as a coach, let him come back and let Darren O'D go to Inverness, and let bring Bruni come in and work on the youths, because we all complain about youth players not coming through. Look at Rockavate, the treatment to him. We could have played him. He could have been a decent player. You know, he's a decent lad. He's a lot. Other clubs are looking at him because he has potential, and Celtic are not budging on getting him a new deal. I think it's disgraceful, because in 2 or 3 months' time, he'd be able to go. He'd be able to sort of pre-contract. And this is another player who could let go. You know, sometimes youth players that go through leave Celtic just don't work out. Look at Karamoka Dembele, he's at Blackpool on loan now. You know, youth wise, yes. Current coaching team, no, no. There's only so much Scott Brown could say in the dressing room. You know, there's only like no. You know, Scales I thought played well. He was our best player, 100%. Him and Johnston were our best players tonight. But that's really it, folks. Um, that's my honest opinion of tonight. I know a lot of you might not like my opinion, and that's okay. But do subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you tuning in. Fair play to you, considering the result. Um, fair play to you typing in what you had to say. I know some of you disagree what I say. That's okay. That's completely okay. You know, I do get hot at times, and that's that's the laugh in it. But let's bounce back the weekend against Livy. You know, the tail's down tonight, but the tail won't be down all season. You know, we're still 4 points clear, and we got to think about the bread and butter mode now. Get back in the league. We might analyse the game tonight and say, the free kick, the wall, the sending offs, not giving them a stronger game. Like the game was there for first half, and then obviously the sending offs. You know what? Um, before I let you go, I was thinking that earlier on. I was like, you know what? I think Scales and CCV would be solid at the back. I was thinking that earlier on in the game at one point, to be honest with you. I understand that. I can understand your frustration. And I don't think you're not the only person out there, topic talker, that feels like that. Um, until we start seeing ambition. I know they're at the pumping money into the training facilities until we start seeing ambition on the pitch. Because there's 27 years watching right now, and give me in the comments how confident are you is that you think Celtic will get European football past Christmas. Just say yes or no in the comments. You don't have to give me a spiel. Just tell me a yes or no in the comments. How confident do you think that Celtic will get maximum points at home to Atletico Madrid, to Lazio, and you know Feyenoord? Be honest. Just say yeah or no. So Tommy says I. At this moment of time, I need to feel the result after Lazio. I need to feel that result. If we get that result, I'll be all guns blazing, saying we could have post match football. At this moment of time, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it, and it's just Lazio are a good side, done well in Serie A last year. Like I just think we don't have that factor that we used to have. We don't have that fearless feel that we're like, you know what, we'll take them at home. We can beat anyone at home. That's gone. That is gone, folks. It's gone. 10 years ago, we're like, yeah, not a bother. Take them at home. Like I turned around and said to me, mate, back in 2012, I remember I was like, we'll beat Barcelona. And he's like, no, you won't. So I was like, we'll beat Barcelona. Celtic Park's a magical place to go. That's gone. That vibe is gone, folks. We all boast up about the Champions League music, fans singing all the music. But haven't won. We never won a game under Brendan Rodgers at Celtic Park in the Champions League. Let's be honest. So and that's it yet again. You can blame Brendan or you can blame the boards. Just being honest. So we'll see what happens. 7 points might not even get us into the Europa League. We finished on 8 points in the Europa League group stages. And we couldn't even get into the last 16 or last 22, whatever it was that season with Ange. So as I said, Madrid's worst football team to play against. Most ultra defensive team. Fell. Horrible team to play against. Simeone's a good manager, good mastermind of doing that style of football, but that's why no club won't touch him because his football's boring to watch. Yet they won leagues and they've got the Champions League finals, but it's horrible to watch. Definitely horrible to watch. So I'm gonna jump off. Pleasure speaking to you all. Take care of yourselves. Do subscribe. Speak to you all soon. Hell.